Hey everyone, it's me again, Cece. I'm here to go through the unfortunate mess that's unfolding before our eyes for episode 7, 8, and 9. I guess I should preface this by saying that I'm a really optimistic person. So I'm always thinking the best, operating in good faith. So that's what I'm doing when I'm reviewing these people and what they're putting on TV for us. When there's some nuance where you can take it one way or the other, I'm always more prone to be like, okay, you know what? Let's take it in the most positive light that we can, considering the context. I'm also trying to balance that in my real life because this world is full of raggedy ass people, but I guess we can get right into it. In episode 7, we're basically packing up from Fantasyland. We're getting back into real life, and we see Chelsea and Jimmy. Chelsea says, "I want you to hear me out when I feel sad and say your feelings are valid." And that's fair. I mean, we definitely see later on that this type of mindset is a little bit much, just coming from her specifically, because we see how it plays out in the later episodes. One thing that I did not like, Jimmy says, "You gotta work on me." Like, what? No, sir. When I hear that, all I'm hearing is you need to put in a lot of work to fix me up. And at my grown ass age, bruh, we're grown ass adults. If you can't work on yourself, if your parents weren't able to do it and you yourself aren't able to do it, it's gonna be a hard no for me. And I was thinking they'd be a cute couple if they weren't so annoying. You can definitely see the patterns that they will be caught up in. They bonded over 80's ass and finally took the relationship to the next level. A little bit later into the episode, Jimmy says, "My least favorite part was," honestly, I thought he was going to say, "My least favorite part was meeting you." I really think that's what was in his mind, but he just didn't say that. His least favorite part was biting his lip or something like that. I don't know, some stupid shit. That's all I got for them. They weren't really giving this episode. Next is AD and Clay. Red light kisses. Interesting. There's something about Clay that makes me feel a little bit uneasy, like he's playing a role rather than actually being himself. That's what it feels like to me. AD and Clay, they're having their conversation. I think AD was talking about working at some type of sports stadium arena, and something that Clay said, he's like, "Oh, you were there with all the big dogs." I was just like, what was happening at that table? Clay, we are crossing pa. Clay, I'm crossing you too sometimes, but this one did. His OCD was coming up really, really rough. But yeah, he gets into the conversation. He doesn't want to let AD down. At this point, I was just thinking, like, this guy's not ready for marriage. He needs therapy, individual, not couples. He needs individual therapy just to talk some things out. Later in the episode, when they actually go back into the real world, one thing about it is that I appreciate Clay actually talking to AD. Unlike Mr. Kendall, he was talking to AD. I think they were going to each other's houses, looking at what their cribs look like. He had a cute little place. Clay divulged Clay's dad was married to Clay's mom, and Clay's dad was taking Clay along with him to go and cheat on the mom. But then Clay says his dad is still a good dad. Can we really say that? I am of the belief that you can't truly be a good dad if you're exposing your child to nonsense that they don't need to be exposed to. Clay is a minor while these things are happening. So how good is your dad? Not very good. Not very good. And it may be hard to reconcile, but that's the truth of the matter. Clay also says he's never seen a black man faithful. Boy, that's so sad. Black men do better. Next on the list, Ken and Britt. Britt and Ken talk about Ken's conversation with AD having black kids. And of course, they wouldn't have black kids. They'd have mixed kids, not black kids. I don't know. For me, it's like, why are you eliminating a piece of the person? Like, it's literally a piece of them, and you're discounting one piece of them. That's a bit much, in my opinion. Another convo for another day. What's up with Ken saying, my people, my people, my people? So my people, when they it's like, bruh, chill out. To be very honest, he started to show his real colors on the boat, being so quiet. At first, I thought they were enjoying the serenity of the moment, right? It's clear blue skies. I'm very confident, very warm. It's just nature, scenic, beautiful. But later down the line, we see that no, it's not that. They talk about physical touch, and that's an interesting thing because I can't relate. They talk about physical touch, and specifically Ken thinking he's doing too much. You think that's because of race? You think Ken is scared because of his experiences being black in America and what that generally means dealing with a white woman's? I don't know, but it was interesting to see how they weren't connecting there. He thought he was doing too much and being overly touchy, and she didn't think so. When they did get home, though, to the house, boy, when I tell you, Ken was attached to his phone, acting like all he had to do was principal shit. Okay, no. That man was on his phone, just tuned Britney out. It was kind of sad. And that's the thing, because these dudes really are acting. And I say that because he said he wants to get back to real life. And maybe I'm mixing it up with something that he said later down the line. But he said he wants to go back to being normal and go to work and come home and that's it. And it's like, yo, these dudes really be acting, pretending to be the guy that you want. They're always just playing the game, it seems. And we see that from Matthew. Now Ken. We see that with Jeremy. We see that with all these dudes. The only redeeming guy, Clay. We see that with Clay also. Only guy that I even have hope for is Johnny. 1 out of 5. What percentage is that? 20%? It's very sad odds. Speaking of which, Amy and Johnny are the next couple, and I barely have any notes for them. They're riding horses. What's her name? Amy shares she can't marry unless her father approves. They also advise that they're not being intimate with each other because she's not on birth control. I do appreciate their discipline, though. When a guy does come through with some discipline, I'm always like giving him the most regard. Last couple. Laura and Jeremy. Laura says she has a history of being embarrassed when they're on the beach, and foreshadowing to the future of being embarrassed by this fool. Jeremy apologizes though and says it was all on him, that bean dip scenario. These people are really trying to convince themselves that they are great for each other. The feeling from the pods isn't translating into real life. It only has to be because of the looks, because that's the only thing that's changed, right? We get to a scene where Jeremy tells Amy he liked Lauren because she can put him in his place. And we have another one. Like, these are very much red flags to me. I'm not your mother. Why do you want me to put you in your place? Why are you putting that burden on me? Let's be for real. If there's one thing we're gonna do, is let's be for real. Because it sounds like you're looking for a mother. We go to their place and it's immaculate. Like, the places look staged. I'll just say that much. But that's where I guess we kind of end off with episode 7. And so episode 8, we're doing more of the perusing through the couple's homes. And is it me, or are we always starting off with Chelsea and Jimmy? They have a lot of stuff going on. Maybe that's why. So Chelsea and Jimmy. Something that came up to me, Chelsea, she was wondering if Jimmy will call off the wedding if there's a dust bunny in the house. And when she said that, I'm like, wow, like, you have time to be thinking about the most minuscule of things, whether he will call off the wedding. And to me, when I heard that, it's like, why would you even want a man that will call off a wedding because of dust bunnies? If I were ever to think that somebody would call off a wedding because there were dust bunnies, sorry, sir, you're not the one for me. For me, that's too small of an issue to be making a big deal of. Chelsea's friends come over. Chelsea is gloating about how everyone was wanting Jimmy in the pods. She actually mentioned, though, that she loved Trevor, and it's like, okay, that's news to me. I didn't know that. I don't think any of us knew that. I don't even think Trevor knew that, but okay, she loved Trevor. Her friends ask about physical touch, and again, I'm just like, is it that important? Like, I thought it was just a guy thing, but apparently girls really like physical touch as well, which is interesting because that's like the least of my love language, physical touch. And that's why it's so easily accessible. Jimmy comes down and he also talks about how his boss loves him. My boss says I'm irreplaceable. He said some shit like that. So they all, sit down, get together, start talking. And I think they asked Jimmy about his experience. And so in that he shares about Jessica. It sounds like he said he loved Chelsea because she was there for him when Jessica got mad at him. Honest to God, from what he described, it just seemed like he said he loved Chelsea because she made him feel better after Jessica gave him the business and told him to go find his EpiPen. He says he wants 3 to 5 kids, says he thinks Chelsea is perfect. Yo, Chelsea is a problem. Chelsea, I find that she's always projecting. She's always projecting. Chelsea says to him that he was in a mood. I'm the type of person that if I ask you a question and you give me the answer, I'm taking that as that's the truth about it. You're looking forward to potentially committing yourself to somebody for life and you don't believe what they tell you. Really and truly, she wants someone to validate her all the time, and it's a little bit, not a little bit, it's a lot of bit annoying. And my niece brought up a great point. She's like, she's probably, negatively self-talking all the time. If you're negatively talking about yourself all the time, even after somebody has said something nice to you, you're definitely going to need them to continue to say those things in order for you to continually out talk your I don't even know how to explain it, but yeah, she is definitely needy and clingy, and it's not a good look. She needs him to talk her out of her negative self-talk, which is not fair because she's the one making things up in her head. She completely ignores him for when he gives a reason why he bit his lip and was less talkative that day because his lip was hurting. Like, she just kind of ignored it. And I couldn't be with somebody like that. Why are you so needy? This made me think, could it be like a cultural difference in the approach of validating people versus not validating people? And I say that comparatively because this type of situation happened with Brittany and Kenneth. However, the conversation went totally the opposite way and they didn't reconcile. But in any case, with Chelsea and Jimmy's kind of a pushover, so he just apologizes all the time, and Chelsea gets what she wants. They're in their circle of she's always going to be upset, wanting more, and Jimmy's always going to be like, okay, and giving, and it's never going to be enough. Chelsea is not self-aware at all. You never tell me you love me. She said that in her little rant. But he literally a couple of seconds or a couple of sentences earlier said, I always say I love you and I mean it. And I do love you. I mean it. And literally when she's responding, she's like, you never tell me you love, like she's very insecure and seems to always be projecting. I don't like that. Jimmy wanted a break from intimacy from her. He likes her enough to go along to get along. Mind you, we're just meeting each other. Like, at the beginning of any relationship, it's more enticing and fun in the beginning. But he's already talking about he wants a break from you. Girl, girl. They both need therapy. On to the next couple. Clay's house is cute. Looks like it is real and not staged like some of the other houses. The pillow with his family on it threw me off. I definitely hope it's just a decoration pillow and that not that he actually sleeps in it, but on it. But yeah, that was like, oh no, that's the first thing to go in the closet if I were to move in. Remember that OCD where when in episode 7 when he was cleaning up the tables? Yeah, we see that OCD make another appearance in his house, in his closet. And maybe it's not OCD, he just likes it organized. For me, it was just like, okay, I see it. You like things organized a particular way. So nothing much else jumps up. Clay is just always scared about getting married, about being the man for AD, and that's scary. Nothing is him wanting to be better. He wants to be better for her, not because he wants to be better. Anyways, next couple, Laura and Jeremy. I don't have much notes for them at all. Laura definitely mentioned serial killer vibes from Jeremy's place. His place looks staged as well. He's not a serial killer, but he definitely maybe a pathological liar. So who the heck did I engage with? Next couple, and now this is the couple that I might get a little heat about because a lot of people are saying, oh, Kenneth is this, that, but I'm going to go through them and hear me out as we go through this couple. So we start off with the house tour. Ken's spice cabinet. This place also looked a little bit staged because that spice cabinet do not look like a color racist, but it doesn't look like a black person's spice cabinet. You had 2 spices and they didn't even look used. Let's be for real. What I'm gonna need for these people to be is for real, because with Chelsea, I'm seeing it with Brittany, and I don't like it. Like, this was the episode where Ken basically says he's ready to be normal. He says he can't always play that role, and it's like, yo, he told on himself. When they were at the vacation place, he was playing a role, just like a majority of these dudes. They're playing a role. And you see, this is why we are having issues, because some of y'all, and Clay is dealing with it. he's dealing with it in the flesh here and now. We're seeing him dealing with trying to play a role, but also be himself. But Ken admits that he was playing a role and he's ready to be normal. Later down the line, Britt says that he doesn't connect often, and Ken shares his perspective, which makes me think that she is needy, because I think she shared the topic of him coming home late, and then what was Ken's response? Yeah, I just came home late this one time, and I was in contact with you throughout the transitions from when I was going from here to there. So, I mean, it made sense to me. And it made Brittany look needy, because it's not that he's gone and not talking to you at all. He is talking to you, but he's just not with you. And I guess it has to do with that physical touch. I don't know. Maybe I'm too masculine, because I like my space. I like my space. If you like to do your own thing, I like to do my own thing too, right? When we get together, we can get together, and that could be that. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. Remember in the previous review that I made, when they were in the pods, I called it out where Ken and Britt they're talking about not communicating, not having the need to communicate. Go back and watch that review. Now she's talking about she wants communication. So honestly, Britt is the one that's not really living up to the conversations that they were having in the pod. And mind you, Ken Ken too, he's glued to that phone. Like the way that they're cutting it, the way that he's definitely glued to that phone. But at the same time, in the pods, they talked about this and they both agreed that they don't really want to communicate. They just, want it to be what it is, and just know that they got each other and it is what it is. Go and watch that review that I made. So yeah, she's not living up to, that conversation that they had about not communicating. She wants him to be all over her in a sense. She did project saying that she doesn't feel the desire. And Ken's like, what are you talking about? You don't feel the desire for you. I feel it. Nothing's wrong on my end. And he basically broke up with her. And this is an unpopular opinion, but I agree with him. If everything is fine on my end and you're over on your end having all these doubts and questions and shit, that means you don't really got me. I will be the one that has to continually reassure you, Chelsea, to tell you that no, everything's okay, when it's like, yo, I don't want that. I want somebody who's down. You guys, am I tripping? Am I tripping or what? Because that's all they've been talking about. Oh, somebody who's down. You got me. But you're over there making up issues about how you're unsure. I'm not going to fight for love. Why am I fighting for love? No. What? Why am I fighting for love? Love, no. I shouldn't be fighting. I'm not going to fight for love. What? Honestly, I keep repeating myself because it doesn't make sense. Why am I fighting for love? No, love should be peaceful. Love should be understanding. I'm not fighting for love. If we can't come to common ground, I'm not gonna fight or do some pushing and pulling to get you to come here. No, if you're not feeling it, then you're not feeling it. You thought I was feeling you? That's the end of their story, unfortunately, or fortunately. So next on the list, we have Johnny. They go to Amy's house and Johnny says crystals are a red flag. They talk about their future, and with Amy and Johnny, it's always so copacetic, always so nice. They're talking about their future. Johnny talks about wanting to save for the meantime, and Amy... Johnny is a saver and Amy is a liver-upper. So, Amy wants to live it up, but they're coming together on having a balance between saving and living in the moment. And that's the thing. That's what love should look like. We're meeting each other in the middle. We both have, a plan. We're on the same page. Not I'm not feeling a desire for you, and no, if you're not feeling a desire for me, then this is not gonna work. I'm not gonna fight for you to desire me. No. Anyways, sorry. Yeah, with Amy and Johnny, everything is always so great. I never have too many notes about them. It's just good. They're talking about, I guess their biggest issue as a couple is is birth control. It's like Johnny doesn't want to have any accidental kids. I can appreciate Johnny's preparedness with this topic. Honestly, I really respect Johnny for that. And I'm also appreciating that he's also open to a vasectomy, because Amy doesn't want to do birth control and have her hormones raging. We also get from this episode Lauren and Jessica meeting up. We find out Jimmy sent Jessica a friend request. Yo, these dudes ain't ish. Really ain't. Like, why would you do that? Why would you want to befriend the woman that you almost got engaged to? Why would you befriend her after getting a glimpse of her character and insinuating that the character is not that great? Why would you befriend her? That's why I'm like, these dudes are playing in all of our faces, and it's just unfortunate to watch because it's like, yo, these girls seem to be in it to actually find a partner, but these dudes on the other hand, Lauren also shares one thing that I did notice as well, Jessica talking about, oh, all his exes look like me. What the fuck? Don't you have a kid? How do you have time to be Googling and researching people's exes? It's a turn off. All these people, like, anyways, it really caught me off guard. Like, girl, you're a whole ass mom. When you're not taking care of your kid, like, you're on this gram researching your exes, like, come on, let's be grown adults, please. Lauren shares about how Sarah connected with Jeremy, and Jeremy responded to, like, yeah, it's a dud with all these couples. Only Amy and Johnny are gonna make it to the end. Essentially the end of that episode. So now we're on episode 9, the last episode of this horrid horrid turn of events. With episode 9, we always are starting off with Chelsea and Jimmy. Chelsea is having a conversation with Jimmy about their disagreement the last episode. I'm over Chelsea. She's a huge emotional wreck. I'm gonna say wreck. She's a gaslighter. What did she say to Jimmy when she was on the bed? Is it because I just told you that you didn't kiss me once yesterday that you got, basically insinuating that he got upset because she just mentioned it? No, girl, you were crying over it, making it a big deal. Like, what? This points to what happened in the previous episode where she makes stuff up in her head. She makes up scenarios in her head and she runs with them. It's just tough. Because this is mental health concerns, right? And I say it's a mental health concern because right now we're on the mild range for delusions, right? Delusion is when you have a story in your head and you believe it, and the story is not based in reality. All that to say, I'm done with Chelsea. She needs therapy as well. Later in the episode, they do meet with Jimmy's girlfriends, so his friends that are girls, maybe I should say. Chelsea says she feels like she has matured, and I'm like, just because you matured doesn't mean that you are mature. Because well, from what we've seen, Chelsea, you are an emotional mess. She feels heard by Jimmy. Meanwhile, in the last episode, talking about how she just needs to feel validated. She wants him to validate her. So again, having two different things coming from Chelsea. I better not hear Chelsea in the next episode talking about how she needs Jimmy to validate her. Because if so, then yeah, then that means he doesn't make you feel heard. Or a weird thing that came up, Jimmy cried during sexual activities. Interesting. Jimmy's friends, though, say that Jimmy is dependent on whoever he is with, which made me raise my eyebrow like, oh, two dependent ass motherfuckers depending on each other. This is why their story is working so well. They have the scripts to each other's stories and they're playing it out so well, perfectly. She did mention that her ex is her best friend, and I found that interesting because is that normal? My boundaries are too strong for my ex to be my best friend. So with Amy and Johnny, again, not a lot to talk about. They're learning bachata. It's cute. It's wholesome. The background song as well was cute. What was it? I see forever in you. Oh, that was cute. If anybody knows who who was singing that song, please link it below. Later in the episode, we do meet Johnny's sisters and brother-in-law, and they love Amy. Like, I never spend more than 5 minutes talking about Amy and Johnny. There's not a lot of, mess to talk about with them. Next, however, we have AD and Clay. AD meets with Clay's mom and sister. Clay's sister seemed very short-lived and very serious. I don't know. That was the feel I got. I found it cute when the mother gave AD her shawl and her cover, talking about she's she feels hot and cold. She's going through the menopause, it seems. It just seemed like a very warm lady. And AD expresses in this moment not having much time with Clay during his time off, which kind of seems like a stuck point for them. Clay does ask, "So what's the problem?" And I thought it was a valid question, but AD took it like, what? Me, from my optimistic Mr. Ned Flanders point of view, why are we catching an attitude with him just asking a question? I can understand both of their, like, AD's point of view. Like, whoa, the tone is bad, but it's like removing the emotion from it. So what's the problem? That's a fair question. It's a legitimate question. And even if you did take it some type of way, you didn't have to be like, "Oh, what?" You could have asked, "Oh, that tone is not normal. What's that tone about?" You two ask questions. Like, communicate here, people. We're adults. I did find it odd that Clay's mom was talking about how she was proud of the 25 years of marriage. You're respecting and seeing this marriage for something so great when it really wasn't, because your husband didn't give a rat's ass that he was married to you. For marriage's sake, maybe it's something to be proud of that you had children. But to say, "Oh yeah, I have 25 years of marriage under my belt," it's like, okay, and the marriage was nothing to the person you were married to, so it wasn't worth anything, really, when you think about it. She does give some good advice for how they need to navigate in the future. Last but not least, Laura and Jeremy. Jeremy told us from the beginning that he's looking for chaos, and we see the chaos. Laura, at the beginning of the episode, says she wants more spice and more oomph, kind of like Brit. And that's what I was talking about, the cultural differences. Chelsea went on a rant talking about she wants Jimmy to kiss her more, and Jimmy apologized and said he's gonna work on it. Laura says that she wants more spice, and he takes it well, seemingly as if he's gonna work on it. And I say the cultural thing because we see how Brit and Ken went about that conversation, and Ken's like, "Okay, I'm out." "Okay, I'm out. Bye." I can't. Jeremy says he's into Laura's brother. Was that Laura's brother? I don't even know. His personality was very toned down. I guess understandably so. You want to make a good impression, but if you want to make a good impression and you can't be yourself, maybe you know that you ain't shit. If you want to make a good impression, and your good impression is taming down your real self, not being, the true authentic self, then that tells a little bit about how you see yourself, Anyways, Jeremy mentions that he has had horrible dating experiences in the past. It's sad because we see the previews, right, for the upcoming episodes, and he's not realizing how he's Legion number 2, talking about he's had horrible dating in the past, but he's here giving Laura a horrible dating experience. Laura shared to her family how Jeremy connected with Sarah and liked the message that Sarah sent. And you guys, another master manipulation. Laura says he liked the message that Sarah sent. And then Jeremy says, "I double tapped it." You see how he told the truth. He did double tap it, but what does double tapping it mean? It means you like this. It came up as very manipulative. Like you're trying to make it seem like something that it's not. And I'm sure we all do this. I think I've used this a couple of times, maybe. But, these people are looking for marriage, trying to build a marriage, a life partner. Laura's mom does say that they talk harshly to each other. We do get to later in the episode, though, where Laura goes off on Jeremy. He was out till 5 a.m. with Sarah, right? And mind you, the bar closed at 2 a.m. Yo, Jeremy is a fucking mess. Talking about, oh, when the guys called me up and said that Sarah's here, and I didn't want someone to dictate to me what to do, so I just went there anyways. Like, bro, she wouldn't be dictating to you what to do. It's you that's making a choice. And instead of making an appropriate choice for somebody who's about to get married, no, you decide to lean into stupidity and nonsensity and ridiculousness and say, yeah, she's not going to tell me what to do and I'm going to go there. But, sir, she didn't tell you what to do. You're telling yourself what to do. These people love to shift accountability. It's really disconcerting. Chelsea did this when she told Trevor, oh, yeah, I'm not able to give my all to you. It's because you're giving it to someone else. Say, I don't want to move forward with you. It's you. Hurts my head sometimes when I think about these people and how they're moving. Sorry, I'm going off on a tangent. So he he leans into the devil that's telling him to go there, and he was upset that Sarah didn't engage with him beyond a hug. Like, what? Bruh, what the is wrong with you? And this makes and that's the thing. You're saying this story as if it's like, yeah, like, obviously I was just gonna go. Yeah, like definitely it makes sense. Like, why wouldn't I? This is what happened. Like, no, but your story seems so stupid. I was 100% processing things the way Laura was describing it. Like, no, that doesn't make sense. Laura did say, I knew this thing was gonna happen. Yo, ladies, listen to that voice in your head. Don't listen to men. Men lie. I mean, women lie too, but clearly from what we're seeing, they don't feel comfortable being themselves. And it's my opinion that guys know how shitty they are and they wouldn't want to be with them. So they know that if they be themselves, no girl would probably want them. So they put this mask on to try. Anyways, I'm going on another tangent. She said she knew this thing was gonna happen. He says, I shared my location with you. The whole issue here is that Laura was trying to understand this nonsense. Like, women generally try to be fair and understand. I'm glad that she said she was done. Like, she should have been done from when he said, I was with Sarah until 5 a.m. That's when the conversation should have ended. It's like, okay, cool. Bye. I encourage more women. As soon as, like, something happens that is inappropriate, cut it off with whoever that guy is. When guys put you in a compromising position, take yourself out of it. Leave. There's too many other guys out there for you to just be trying to understand this one idiot. this nonsensical fool. This bloody fool. You were out with Sarah until 5 a.m. Okay, cool. Bye. I'm not even trying to understand what would make you want to be with Sarah until 5 a.m. because that's madness. The only thing that would make you want to be with Sarah until 5 a.m. is that you want to be with Sarah. That's all I need to understand about the situation. I'm just going to end it there. I actually decided to come back with a review for episode 10 and 11 since I was so late with posting the review. We're still on the same downward trajectory with these couples, but it looks like some of them are just gonna go down with the ship. For episode 10, we start off with Jeremy and his mom, Janine. Jeremy, of course, is playing down the issue with Sarah Ann, says it was 4:30 a.m. when he drove Sarah home. Please keep that in mind for later. To me, it's like he thinks he should get points for the fact that he brought up the mess that he created. Why create a mess in the first place? If you know this is something that your fiance, your potential life partner won't like, why do it in the first place? It's because you don't care. Talk about good intentions. Anyways, the mom said that he's lucky it wasn't her because she would have been waiting up for him. I'm like, damn. In the next scene, It was just a quick scene. We see Amy and Johnny building furniture, followed up with Jim and Charles. So Jimmy, well, we meet Jimmy, his mom, dad, and sister. I found it weird. Did anybody notice how Chelsea was trying to block Jimmy from hugging his mom? Like, was that an awkward cut, or like, it's Chelsea? What do we expect except the most cringiest of moments? One thing I'll say is Jimmy's parents look so cute. They go sit down, they're talking. Chelsea is downplaying the fights they've had. 99% of the fights are because of the voices in her head and her inability to quell her negative self-talk. So the next scene, Adie's mom meets Clay. One thing I didn't like, Adie kept talking about how good Clay looks physically. She's like, oh, he's a looker. He's a looker. Like, okay, girl. Okay. Adie's mom looked like she wanted her some Clay when he walked through the doors. Clay, he's getting annoying. He goes through his spiel, his sob story about how he wants to be a good husband, but his parents were so bad at marriage. He doesn't know. Well, I should say his dad was so bad that he doesn't know how to be a husband. Basically, that's his story. Adie brings up how gorgeous Clay is again after he gets up and leave. And that's it's like, yo, Adie, this is, I think she's too wrapped up in his looks. The amount of work he needs to do to get himself ready, he's not ready. Run, Adie. It's your lesson repeating itself again. You haven't learned your lesson, I don't think. When the mom gets up and walks around, I was just like, dang. We see where Adie gets it from. I found it odd that Adie's mom said, in his defense, he's trying. I'm like, excuse me, ma'am? He's trying? How do you know he's trying? You just met him for 2.5 seconds and you're already in defense of him that he's trying. Lady, you don't see nothing. You're just giving that hope that a lot of Black women have. After that, we go to Amy and Johnny. We meet Amy's father. He seems so nice and sweet. Johnny tells about his family history. He seemed to jump out of nowhere and ask for Amy's hand in marriage. I was like, oh, where did we get another awkward cut by these producers? Their scenes are always so short. There's nothing to them except progress. We'll keep watching to see. Next scene is Chelsea and Jimmy. Oh gosh, like I'm tired of these. Okay. I guess we'll go through this one last time. Chelsea was drunk. I keep saying that Chelsea is emotionally manipulative, and she is, because she starts off by saying that Jim didn't invite her to go out. You know, she also says Mackenzie said that Jim was out enjoying himself, to which Jimmy says he doesn't even know what Mackenzie looks like. Keep that in mind because we're going to come back to it. Just like we're going to come back to Jeremy saying that he took Sarah Ann out at 4:30 in the morning. But anyways, Jimmy says he doesn't know what Mackenzie looks like. And then Chelsea, in describing the scenario and how it's so embarrassing for her, says that she just wanted to go to bed and doesn't want to be with someone who wants to go out partying. Ma'am, didn't you just say that you were upset because Jim didn't ask you to go out? Now, all of a sudden, you wanted to go to bed, so you didn't want to go out? Like, you just... If it's not a big deal for you not to go out, why are you making it a big deal that he didn't ask you? Who wants to have silly arguments like this all the time? I'm really over this shit. I'm not going to be going through Chelsea's emotional roller coaster because it's upsetting for me as an empath. This is manipulation. This is toxic. That's what it is. Jimmy also says later when they're going and having their stupid little argument that he didn't see Mackenzie. Huh? I thought you didn't know what Mackenzie looks like. So what are you talking about? I didn't see Mackenzie. these contestants, these characters that are lying about what they're going through, or these producers that are just cutting and pasting it in awkward ways, but it just doesn't add up. We go back to Clay and AD in the next scene, and they're talking about going to a lake, chopping it up about wedding colors. AD's dog looks so cute. His name is Rico. Kind of looks like my dog. Clay starts rambling again about not wanting to cheat. And at this, I'm over it. I'm over Clay not wanting to be married, but getting married. I'm over Chelsea and her emotionally manipulative ass, her emotionally immature ass. Did y'all notice that Clay starts looking for a way out with his question about why is why is time so important? Like, do we have to do it at this time? Like, bruh, it's the process. The weird thing about it is AD gives Clay an out from getting married, talking about, she can handle it if he says no. But later in that scene, AD also says that she wouldn't date him if he says no. Finally, towards the end of the episode, we meet everyone together. The guys and the girls go their separate ways. Amy divulges what she knows about Laura and Jeremy to the girls while they're sitting there chatting. I love that Laura puts everything in perspective, recognizing that Sarah is a problem, of course, but the bigger problem is Jeremy, because he's the one who made a commitment to her. Sarah owes her nothing. Jeremy is the one who owes her all the respect and care, but he's not giving it to her. A lot of you girls got it twisted to the point where you will take your philandering, useless man back and then be mad at the girl when it's actually your man who you should be mad at, because he's the one who committed himself to you, not the girl. But anyways, I digress. Jeremy says that he doesn't want to fight for someone who runs away at the slightest little thing, and that was so effing toxic to me. Bro, you're the issue that's in the relationship. No, she would have to fight against herself to be with you. Why is she fighting? She did nothing wrong, so why is she fighting? No, that doesn't make sense. Don't try to make it seem like you're just some endearing guy who is just fighting for love. Nah, motherfucker, you ain't got no love. You definitely don't have any love for Laura. So kick rocks with open toe sandals. Yeah, kick rocks. Next, we see Jim and Jessica connect. And Jessica kind of shocked me. She was not inappropriate like Sarah Ann. I definitely took Jessica to be the Sarah Ann type. Jim also goes on to rambling, talking about Jess is the smartest girl he's met. I'm not even going to get into that because it's like, I wonder, why did he choose Chelsea? So I'm just wondering the qualities about Chelsea that really made him choose her. He literally says, in reality, you were my number one still. I don't understand that. In reality, in the real world, you were, okay, that's now we took it to the past, my number one still. You were, okay, so we're in the past with you were, and then you said my number one still. Still is present tense. So what? That was so weird. I was really trying to understand what he meant by that, but okay, y'all do you. So that was the end of episode 10. We move on to episode 11, and we start off talking about how Matt looks like Clark Kent. Okay, cool. I do not think AD would be upset with the choice that she went with, considering how shallow she is. Trevor and Chelsea sit down, they talk and flirt for a little bit. I mean, I keep saying how I like how the girls have a strong connection and how they're cool, but the guys also have that, and we see that a lot with Trevor and Jimmy. Jim and Chelsea end up getting into it again. Ugh. I'm already over these people. because Chelsea says Amy and Johnny are the strongest couple. I mean, for us watching, we can understand because they are the strongest couple out of all of these people. It's weird that she starts apologizing and lying to make things right again. So we see that Chelsea has no issue lying just to make sure she's in the good graces of people, which is not good for a relationship. Like, let it be what it is. Talk through it, get to understand each other. Next, we go to Jeremy and Laura. The way Jeremy is presenting himself, it sounds like he's used to girls accepting that low level and basic pleas for forgiveness. That's all it takes for him to usually get into their good graces after he's fucked up. And so the fact that Laura isn't letting him get away with bullshit is what's upsetting him. He could have shown his phone to confirm that Laura had said some mean things, but we didn't see that. He could have shown his phone, but didn't. So I'm gonna have to go with Laura on this. Laura definitely laid it into him because he already packed up her stuff. So he wasn't even interested in her coming. Like, why would you pack up her stuff if your mindset is that we're having a tiff and we're gonna work through this? No, you already packed it up. You had made your mind up that it was done once you packed it up. And we move into Sarah and AD going back and forth. AD asks Sarah about the DM. Sarah says Jeremy left the door open. Of course he did, because why else would you be sniffing around unless you thought there was a chance? And this is where Sarah Ann says he dropped her off that evening. Remember, guys, episode 10. Jeremy said it was early in the morning when he dropped Sarah Ann off at her house, 4:30 in the morning. And now look at Sarah's story, telling AD that, oh yeah, he dropped me off that evening. Baby girl, you see the stories ain't adding up. Somebody's lying. Both of them are lying. They didn't get their stories straight. So we know that some shit went down. I mean, we knew this already, but it's just confirmation that they're freaking lying. Sarah is that girl that I thought she was, not a girl's girl, it seems. She's definitely a pick-me person who wants attention. I mentioned this in my review that first time. If you feel interrogated, then that's on you, baby. I was like, oh my gosh. Sarah definitely was defensive. Just let it be what it is. Say what it is, and that it is what it is. But they're not believing your story, so you're getting upset. Your defenses are up because you have to protect this facade. And we do move to Jeremy and Sarah Ann talking, and Sarah's trying to convince herself that she is not an ancient person. Says that they're painting a picture of her as a floozy that goes after engaged men. And when she said that, I'm just like, honey, honestly, like, I'm not sure if they reflect on what they're saying, but baby girl, you are a girl that goes after engaged men. That's literally what you did. And those type of women who have that rep for going after people's men are known as floozies. So baby girl, you are a floozy that goes after engaged men. Like, she's describing herself to a T, but she's upset at the description rather than being upset at who she is. You just confirmed with AD in the previous scene that you knew they were engaged and you still went after him because he left the door open. When you're a good person that has certain morals, you don't do certain type of stuff, which is engage with an engaged man. Right? In that whole rant, she just confirms how selfish she is with her limited ability to consider people outside of her selfish desires. Like, I'm part of this experience too, and I deserve, okay, yeah, you deserve all that stuff. But just know that when you move in that way, we have names for people like you, and it's floozies, right? You aren't able to see how certain actions would affect others because you're too consumed within your needs to really understand the gravity of your action. I hope you grow, learn, be better, do better, and we'll see how this pans out for you. Chelsea and Jimmy go on a ice carving date. They look to have a nice time. They are cute when they aren't in their little pattern of arguing. Adie and Clay go color some shoes. And Amy and Johnny talk about their future. Amy was talking about hyphenating her last name with Johnny. That's her culture. Johnny makes it known that, yeah, she can hyphenate her name, but he wants the kid's name to be his name. She agrees with this, and to be honest, I used to be of that mindset, but I've changed. I'm just realizing that guys don't have the emotional bandwidth, or very few, 5% of men have the emotional bandwidth to be able to actually care about you. Now when I think about it, I'm going to death, near death, right? For this child, and you lay claim to this kid with your last name. No, that's my kid too. That kid gonna have my name. After their little date, we see the brides shopping for the wedding dresses and the guys going tuxedo shopping. Clay's friends look zesty. That's one of my notes. Johnny's friends like Amy. Jimmy says that Chelsea is a joy to be around, and I'm like, Jimmy, really? You are lying at this point. Because from what we've seen, there's just been a lot of turmoil when it comes to the dresses. I was thinking, AD will look good in whatever dress that she tries on because her body is just amazing. I wasn't a huge fan of that second dress that she wanted, but she loved it, said that's her wedding dress. She was really crying so hard. Amy chose her dress and didn't really like that dress, but she loved it and it suited her, so that's cool. Chelsea. I feel like her sister was asking her if she's ready for marriage because her sister knows that she's not. Chelsea said wearing the dress made her feel the best she ever felt. Why is this material possession essentially making you feel the best you've ever felt? I'm sure you said that the first time you got married too, but hey. So yeah, the couples get together for dates as a build up before the wedding. The most exciting couple date was Jim and Chelsea, but then I always remember their dynamic and it makes me sad again. Jimmy is asking Chelsea about how they're going to proceed, and it seems like Chelsea is coming off at like she's unsure. Maybe it's production, maybe not, but yeah, that's the end of episode 11. At this point, it's a toss up. We have 3 couples making it to the wedding. I'm most confident with Johnny and Amy, but it's always a toss up. We don't know. So we'll just wait to see how it pans out. What are your predictions? I predict Johnny and Amy say yes. I predict AD and Clay say yes. And I predict Chelsea and Jimmy say yes. Let me know your thoughts below in the comment section. I'm thinking about having a review with my niece and my mom, having all of us do our little review together on the wedding. So let me know if you be interested in watching that, and I'll try to make it happen. Bye.